News 4 San Antonio at 5. We're here for you.
2 weeks after the devastating snowstorm, more failures at ERCOT are revealed. Our troubleshooters break down why a mistake cost the state more than $16 billion.
And what really happened with our utilities right here in San Antonio. We'll tell you how you can make your voice heard and when you can expect your CPS Energy bill.
And how do we even begin to say goodbye to the one and only Randy Beamer? We'll share with you some of our favorite moments in just a few minutes. But first, the fallout continues from last month's winter storm and power crisis. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Simone De Alba.
I'm Randy Beamer, and some more urgent meetings here today revealed technical failures at ERCOT. And as troubleshooter Jay Avila reports, it was a mistake that resulted in Texas being overcharged by $16 billion for energy.
Randy, the Public Utility Commission decided not to go back and reverse some of those crazy prices utilities had to pay for power, prices that will likely be passed on to you, the customer, even though an independent monitor says ERCOT allowed those sky-high prices much longer than necessary. At a technical meeting this afternoon, ERCOT revealed the software it uses to communicate quickly with utilities like CPS Energy failed during the storm, making it even more difficult to restore power.
The listservs were all down, and so our standard method of communication, sending out and receiving, just wasn't there. We're kind of dead in the water.
In an effort to get more generators to go online and supply power, the Public Utility Commission instructed ERCOT to raise the cap on what generators can charge, up to $9,000 per megawatt hour. CPS Energy and other utilities were forced to pay those prices as they worked to restore service. News 4 obtained a letter from an independent company that monitors the energy market, telling the Public Utility Commission ERCOT left prices high for 32 hours longer than it should have, long after the emergency was over and plenty of power was available. This decision resulted in $16 billion in additional costs. The monitor recommends that the commission direct ERCOT to correct the real-time prices.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Today, the new Public Utility Commission chair appointed by Governor Abbott said he was not going to reverse those prices, saying that might do more harm than good.
I know on the surface it looks like, oh no, it's just money that generators got, and if you reverse it, it will go to the consumers. But that is very simplistic, and it's not how it works.
While those high prices are driving some utilities out of business and left some Texans with outrageous bills, consumer groups expect CPS Energy bills to go up gradually over time. Simone?
Hey, thank you. And on that note, we're getting new details from CPS Energy about your bills. The utility says they'll be releasing bills for last month on Monday. They're assessing the validity of additional fuel and purchased power costs during the storm and say they're not passing those costs to customers right now. They say they're also reviewing the accounts of customers who were most impacted by the storm and expects to provide credits in those cases. That credit plan will be announced in the next 30 to 45 days.
And continuing our coverage of the aftermath, the effects of last month's storm, another group now is starting to look into exactly what happened with our utilities here, and they met for the first time today. News 4 San Antonio's Zach Hedrick was at that meeting, joins us live now to tell us when you can expect some answers from them. Zach?
Well, Randy, we know you want answers, and we continue to push CPS Energy and SAWS for them. Now, this committee is starting to form what questions they're going to ask, and you'll be able to be a part of that process, too.
People want people to give them answers.
Former City Council member Reed Williams is running point on a new committee. The 7-member group was formed a little more than a week ago, and they're called...
It is the Committee on Emergency Preparedness.
The group will be looking into how public utilities, the city of San Antonio, and the surrounding communities responded during the blackouts caused by last month's winter storm.
The crisis that absolutely indicated that we did not do proper planning. All right, let's get a blank page.
The committee is literally starting from square one. They'll be focusing on 3 areas: how organizations prepared before the storm, how the utilities responded during the week, and what impact it had on the community.
We just don't know. And the folks don't know out in the community, and they deserve to know.
We asked if the committee expects the city and utilities to be cooperative with their questions.
Absolutely. Have not heard anything different.
How soon do you expect to get some answers?
I would hope we can start getting some answers back to questions and formulating the questions in a couple of weeks.
Now, this group wants to hear from you. I'm told sometime next week they'll be setting up some features on a website so you can submit your questions and comments. It can be done either over the phone or text message, and it'll be in English and Spanish as well. We'll share a link once it gets up and running. Simone?
All right, some helpful information there. Zach, thank you. Right now, some in our community may still be without running water because of the winter storm, and that's why Bexar County is expanding its plumbing assistance program. During the second phase, the county will dispatch a plumber and pay up to $1,500 for parts and labor. If you've already had the problem fixed, you could even get reimbursed. This is for people living outside of city limits in the incorporated areas of Bexar County who cannot find a plumber. Maybe you can't afford one. Many of these people also do not qualify for the SAWS or City of San Antonio assistance programs.
Our main goal is to ensure that our most vulnerable residents have clean running water in their homes through dispatching a plumber to fix broken pipes.
Keep this in mind if you'd like to apply. We do have a link. You can find it on our website, news4sa.com.
And our entire team will keep taking your questions straight to officials to get you answers about the devastating storm and all its effects. We'll keep you updated right here on 4 and online at news4sa.com.
Right now, the WellMed vaccination hotline is still open and booking appointments for the COVID-19 vaccine. The number to call is 833-968-1745, listed there on your screen. They're looking to fill appointments for 9,000 first dose vaccines from Moderna. These phone lines will be open until 8 p.m. tonight. They will reopen again tomorrow morning at 8. And just a reminder here, masks are required when you go in for your appointment at any of the WellMed clinics.
Melissa Vega at the live desk. Happening right now, more than 1 million first doses of COVID-19 vaccine on the way to the state. We're getting more vaccines next week because doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine have been added to the supply. Now, we just received a list of what counties are getting. So let's break this down for you. Bexar County will be receiving more than 48,000 first doses. KMOL County, 5,100 doses. And Guadalupe County, 5,800 doses. So more vaccines are coming. So far, the state has administered nearly 6.3 million doses. That's the latest from the live desk.
And I said, Selena. And everybody kind of gave me these blank stares. Who? Huh? And I said, all you need to know is her last album has outsold ZZ Top and Willie Nelson. And that's really all you need to know. This is why she is worth writing about.
He's talking about Selena, and in San Antonio's Voice tonight, that is the man who wrote the book on the late Tejano star. That's Joe Nick Petoskey, longtime writer, telling me how he had to convince editors at Texas Monthly that Tejano star Selena was worth doing even a small article on. This is back in 1994. Of course, Selena's story right now back in the spotlight with the Netflix series out. But back then, while she was outselling ZZ Top and Willie Nelson, Petoskey had to push just to get that one article in the magazine about her. And then, about a year later, after she was murdered, he still had to convince his editors that she was worth putting on the cover.
When Hispanics have been featured in Texas Monthly, it was usually for doing something bad. And here was something good. And I got in a heated argument. Well, they put her on the cover. And it became the best-selling single newsstand issue, except for the sesquicentennial special issue. And they'd printed up enough copies for that. They sold out of copies.
They just didn't print up enough copies of the Selena magazine. Now, Petoskey would later write the definitive book on the life and death of Selena. It's called Selena Como LaFleur. I want to thank him for talking with us. Long conversation, and you can check out our entire conversation in my San Antonio's Voice podcast. Just search for it at news4sa.com or later at my Facebook page at randy.beamer.
Still to come, as some states start to loosen restrictions, the CDC is suggesting otherwise. The new research showing how mask wearing affected case numbers.
And the Senate debating that COVID relief bill. We'll tell you about the change in unemployment benefits in it in that $1.9 trillion bill.
Editing a Randy Beamer story? Piece of cake. No. But I did truly enjoy working with you.
I always looked up to you, and I learned so much from you that the next one is named after you. You did a fine job, Beamer, a fine job.
Back to you, Beamer.
Beamer, like this branch, you're so much a part of San Antonio, and I can personally say thank you for helping me to become a better journalist. I'm not going to be sad. I'm going to always have my memories, and so
I just want to say thank you again, my friend, and instead of saying goodbye, see you later.
Making headlines across the country tonight, President Biden's rescue plan is now coming closer to a vote after senators spent today debating that bill. It would include $1,400 direct payments to most Americans, funding for vaccines, and to reopen schools. Also, jobless benefits lowered to $300 a week. But Republicans still call that bill too costly. Democrats calling their conservative colleagues, though, short-sighted about the real needs of Americans. Now, should all Republicans vote against that bill as expected, Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to break that tie to pass the bill.
As some states, including Texas, begin lifting COVID-19 restrictions, a new study from the CDC shows these mandates are tied to fewer illnesses and deaths. Researchers studied case trends between March and December of last year. They found states with mandatory mask mandates saw a 1.8% decrease in cases and a 1.9% drop in deaths up to 100 days later. States that allowed dining in restaurants had a 3% increase in deaths across 100 days. Still to come, honoring a legend. We'll share with you messages from Randy's co-anchors over the years, their well wishes, their memories as he retires. Only on 4, the home of Randy Beamer, the legend himself. Every night for the past 30-plus years, you've welcomed him into your home. And tonight, we're all getting ready to watch him together one final time as he retires today. Look at those pictures. They're fun to see, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this the headstone we're going to put up there? I appreciate this.
No. Hey, I did want to say, just on a personal note, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor to anchor alongside you. It does say it there in the prompter
it said it's been a pain.
But, well, I read over the top of it. It's been fun, Randy. I've had a great time.
Thank you. And with you as well.
Thank you. And we get to hear from some of your co-anchors that have some messages for you. Take a listen.
Hey, Beamer, congratulations on your retirement. I can tell you from personal experience that it's a lot of fun living on the other side of the camera. It's a fantastic world out here, and you're going to see things through a different lens. I think you're going to love it, but I can tell you for sure, we're all going to miss you a lot. Good luck.
The sun is setting on one chapter, but the sun is rising on a beautiful new one, filled with more time with your family and following passions like your photography. You knew I was going to get in a weather reference, right? Oh, and Beamer, no one says, stay classy, San Antonio, better than you. Cheers, my friend.
Beamer, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on your retirement and enjoy your time with your kids.
Hey Randy, I miss you. You're my auxiliary dad, my mentor, my friend, and an amazing human being. It's a joy to know you. Congratulations on a fantastic career and happy retirement.
Beams, oh my goodness, all I can say is what a ride it has been. And an honor to have worked with you for the last 16 years side by side. We've done some great work together and we've made some fantastic memories. You are a gem, not only out there in the community in San Antonio, but also in the newsroom at News 4. You're a treasure, and it's a big loss. We're all going to miss you so much. I love you. Good luck.
Isn't that great to see all those messages? And that was the one thing I was trying to, look through your Facebook page. Every single message, every single one has been what you've meant to this community.
And back at them, I've gotten so much more out of this than anybody else, and Delaine and everybody else. It's great to see you, and I wish all of you were here, but I'm getting out of this in the pandemic so that I can grow the mustache back, and it's scraggly underneath and nobody will know. Anyway, I'm getting a hard rap from a producer, and I really hate that. But I'll have more to say later. I'm sorry, Alicia, I couldn't hear you. But I'll have more to say later. And thank all of you for your kind words and well wishes, and I'll try to respond individually to all of them. I'm out of words. Chris.
I'll take it from here, Beamer. Thank you. Well, happening right now, as we mentioned, more vaccines are coming next week. We just received an alert. The Comal County COVID-19 vaccination standby list on the county's website is going to reopen on Monday morning at 10 a.m. So if you'd like to put your name on that list, you can do so on Monday. Randy?
All right, thanks, Melissa. Right now, trending on the web, our assignments editor, Sal Del Cid, joins us. Sal, what's up?
You, Randy,
Oh,
you're
God,
up.
I was
And,
afraid
I know
of
you
that.
don't like this stuff.
We're out of time.
But, Randy, you are the talk of the town tonight. People are going to miss you. They say they already miss you. You can just go to Facebook and check it out on our page, your page. People cannot believe that the man behind the mustache is retiring tonight. Yeah, Randy, you can see these comments for yourself. People say that you're always truthful and you've got that quiet sense of humor. Now, sense of humor, we know that's right. Quiet, maybe not so much, but people are wondering, Randy, what is next for you? Perhaps politics, they ask. So you've got the floor, Randy.
Oh, no.
It is yours. There's an election coming up.
There's way too much baggage. And Sal, by the way, I have to tell you, I forced you out of the building. I haven't seen you in person in more than a year, but it's been great to work with you, and you put up with a lot of my grief, so thank you. And what's next? Some photography, some artwork, some other things. Stay tuned to my Facebook page, but mostly family. So I'll talk about that later, too. Thanks, Sal. Good to see you again, and good luck not having to deal with Mike anymore. Chris?
Now your certified most accurate four-zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
All right, well, we still got two more newscasts after this with Randy here. I only have 2 minutes for weather tonight, so I'm just going to say, Randy, I love you like a brother. And we still got more newscasts here to celebrate you and your retirement. Outside now, World Car Weather Cam View, sunny. We hit 81 degrees today. And for the next couple of hours, a red flag warning is in effect for the Western Hill Country, our western zone. The combination of low humidity, gusty winds, that warm sun, ideal conditions to develop and spread wildfire here. So be careful, especially if you're driving, down the road and got a cigarette. Don't throw it out the window, please. Extinguish it properly. There you see the low humidity in place. The wind gusts 30 to 35 miles an hour. It'll stay windy actually through the evening and midnight tonight, and then gradually trying to subside through the weekend. Temperatures, again, they are warm after that high of 81. Cooler weekend coming in. These clouds here, they'll be with us in the morning, so we'll start mostly cloudy, and then we turn partly sunny. Beautiful day coming up here. Again, it'll be a little bit breezy, but not as windy. 60s out west. Hill country, 40s, 50s into the morning, and then the afternoon breezy, but cooler. 60s for you tomorrow and to Sunday as well. And then you see the central zone looking really good through Saturday. A little bit breezy, especially in the morning, but really not a bad day. And in our eastern zone here too, we're talking about refreshing conditions. Next weather maker, I want to slip this in. I'm already watching late next weekend. Big system coming into the state with rain. Look at that, up to the north, some snow possible. Not here though, but we're watching it. That again is in day 8 and 9. So you do not see much of a rain chance next 7 days across our area. Warming up, a little bit more humidity next week. Quickly, our western zone forecast, 69 to 70, 74 Monday. Hill country, enjoy this weekend in the 60s. We're going to warm it up for you next week. And here's a look at your eastern zone extended forecast. Don, Randy, over to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Don with the All-Star break here. I guess the Spurs, sadly, they're not in the game, so they're going to take days off and rest as they can.
Yeah, they've got a COVID outbreak on their team. They've still got 4 guys out. LaMarcus Aldridge has a stomach bug. So the Spurs hit the All-Star break, and they're liking it because there's going to be no rest for the weary. Once it starts back up, we're all over the Spurs. Oh, and we might have a surprise next.
This is the Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
Well, good evening, everybody. The Spurs getting ready for the second half of the season. They're off for 6 days. They've got a nice break, but hold on a second. What? But we've got some breaking news first. Okay. Former News 4 San Antonio sports intern, Mayor Ron Nirenberg, joining us live with a breaking news announcement because he's still a news hound at heart. Mayor, I know you're joining us live. I'm just going to turn it over to you. What's the breaking news, sir?
Hi, Don. Well, very important proclamation I have to issue for the city of San Antonio tonight, so thank you for letting me break into your segment. I wanted to issue this for the whole city of San Antonio that after 30 years of service on March 5th, 2021, may it be known, we do hereby extend sincere appreciation to Randy Beamer for his devoted service to the city and its citizens. May your retirement open up new vistas with new challenges, new interests, and above all, continued success and a life well lived. Happy Randy Beamer Day, the 5th of March 2021.
Oh, thank you.
Mayor, I've got to ask you first and foremost, you're going to get some pushback on this from this guy.
Yeah.
So why? Why would you make such a proclamation for this guy?
April Fools? Is that it early?
Well, no, you know, probably the most famous mustache that's ever been in San Antonio. We have a lot to celebrate about Randy and what he's given back to this community.
Well,
it's been a tough year, but we've got some things to celebrate, and that includes you, Randy.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But we need to celebrate that Ron Nirenberg, people don't know, had to endure Don Harris when you were a sports intern here. I believe Don Harris single-handedly pushed you out of the idea of getting into sports. Is that right?
You guys were real tough on interns, but I will tell you, I kept my head down because you were beating up on David Chancellor when I was there. So
we're getting a wrap from the producer, Mayor.
One more thing.
Thank you.
You've had anchor experience now. There's a job opening. You going to apply?
Nobody can touch your seat, Randy. There's only one Randy Beamer.
Boy, is that a politician. Good answer.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor. We'll
and
be
all
right
the best
back.
with all you have to deal with. Thanks.
We'll see you soon.
Hey Beams, I'm told I have a hard 10 seconds for this. Sounds like a producer problem, right? But seriously, it's been the honor of a lifetime being one of your producers. We'll miss you. Happy retirement.
I'm going to miss your very impressive and extensive knowledge of San Antonio history, Beamer, along with the way that you made everyone feel like a friend.
That was so sweet.
Thank you. That was funny. And you guys in your shirts.
Our Randy Beamer shirts.
We've only got 3 more shows to do this.
We love them.
See
it's
you
all for you,
6.
Randy.
News 4 San Antonio at 6. We're here for you.
Testing migrants for COVID-19. Is it being done before they cross the border? We'll clear up the confusion for you. Plus, why one local congressman says San Antonio could see an influx coming up.
Plus, the Public Utilities Commission of Texas decided not to take action on correcting massive overcharges from during the winter storm. What that means for your electric bill.
And honoring a legendary anchor, we'll share some goodbyes from some of our staff on Randy Beamer's retirement. But first,
over 10,000 people have come in through the lower Rio Grande Valley. Those folks are not being tested.
new at 6. Are migrants being tested for COVID-19 when they enter the United States? It depends on who you ask and where they're detained. Thank you for joining us. I'm Simone De Alba.
And I'm Randy Beamer. And tonight, News 4 San Antonio's Jim Lefkoe is getting answers for you on the confusing state of affairs on the border.
Border Patrol is not checking the people that come in. They're not doing that.
Congressman Henry Cuellar says migrants being detained in the valley are not being tested for COVID before traveling to other cities.
If you are sending people out there that are not being tested, then in many ways you're being a little negligent.
Border Patrol, though, tells us in a statement they are checking for COVID, saying they conduct inspections for symptoms or risk factors and consult with medical personnel as appropriate. Suspected cases are referred to local health systems for testing, diagnosis, and treatment. The level of testing is more rigorous in cities like El Paso, where all migrants are tested, and any positives quarantine at a hotel.
Are you finding a big disparity depending on the local governing authorities?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. They might be doing that in El Paso, in Brownsville. They just started doing that recently. In Laredo, the city's not doing that.
Cuellar says San Antonio could see an influx of migrants if the numbers start to rise like they did a couple years ago. Now COVID's an added concern.
Remember what happened in 2019? All of the extra folks that were here, where did they go? San Antonio.
Local facilities we check with say they haven't seen migrants here.
If the numbers keep going, then I think San Antonio is going to come into play.
Cuellar shared a letter Greyhound just sent to Homeland Security, asking for assurances it will not be asked to transport anyone who hasn't tested negative for COVID. You can find that letter on our website, news4sa.com. Randy?
All right, thanks, Jim. Are all COVID-19 vaccines going to those who actually live in the U.S.? Well, after many calls, we investigated What is really going on? And tonight, News 4 San Antonio found an ad offering to get people vaccination appointments, coordination for their travel, and transportation to Texas for 2,950 pesos. That's about $150. Down in Monterrey, Mexico, some of the media is reporting the former mayor of one of the richest municipalities there is going to California for his vaccine. And even a Supreme Court judge and her husband, they say, coming to San Antonio for their doses.
U.S. vaccines are for U.S. residents. Texas vaccines are for Texas residents. And it is true that you could be from Comal County and come to Bexar County and get a vaccine, and that's just the way the process works. But you must be a Texas resident to receive a vaccine in Texas.
We don't check citizenship, which is almost impossible. I wouldn't be concerned about it if we had everybody vaccinated, but we don't have everybody vaccinated. Now, there are a lot of Mexican nationals that live up there. They have a home here. They live here all the time. That's a little different situation than, you know, marketing to bring in more people, and we can't even handle getting our own citizens vaccinated.
We're keeping on this to get you answers, reaching out to the governor's office and others for comments. Of course, we'll keep you updated here on 4.
Melissa Vega at the live desk. Happening right now, more news on the immigration front tonight. The Biden administration instructing long-term facilities that hold immigrant children to lift capacity restrictions put in place during the COVID-19 pandemic. The administration is looking to open up more beds. Now, there was a memo sent by the federal government telling service providers to temporarily increase capacity to full licensed capacity while still following COVID-19 safety measures. Now, right now, it's not immediately clear how many beds will come available beyond the roughly 7,000 that were online last month. Simone?
Melissa, thank you. A new group is now starting to look into what improvements local utilities can make after last month's winter storm. The newly formed Emergency Preparedness Committee held their first meeting today. Over the next few weeks, the 7-member group will look at how organizations like SAWS and CPS Energy can better prepare for future storms. They don't have the authority to make changes, but they can make recommendations.
If we come up with something and it is obvious to somebody like a common man like me, then it should be obvious to them.
The committee also wants to hear from you. We're told they're setting up a phone and a text messaging service so you can submit your own questions and comments. We'll be sure to share a link when it goes live next week.
Well, today, the Public Utilities Commission of Texas decided not to take any action on correcting massive overcharges during the winter storms a few weeks ago, after a third-party monitor found that ERCOT allowed charges into the billions of dollars to be passed on from energy providers. Now, Christian Flores tonight has more details why they came to that decision and what that could mean for your bill.
This disaster exposed a lot of small things we need to fix with our markets, big and small.
One thing exposed in the aftermath of the Arctic blast and subsequent power outages was ERCOT overcharging the energy market by $16 billion over 2 days. On Friday, the Public Utilities Commission of Texas discussed this letter sent to them by the Independent Market Monitor, which found ERCOT was right to charge the maximum price during the winter storms, but kept these prices for 32 hours longer than they needed to, leading to this overcharge. The monitor recommended correcting these prices. However,
I think these are difficult decisions.
Newly appointed PUC Chair Arthur D'Andrea decided not to take action on this during the meeting, hinting he may not correct these prices at any time.
We just see the tip of the iceberg. We don't see all the hedges and stuff beneath the surface. And so you don't know who you're hurting, and you think you're protecting the consumer, and it turns out you're bankrupting a co-op or a city. Because of that, I'm reluctant to go down this path.
Energy policy expert Caitlin Smith says this was not a surprising decision considering how the energy market is constructed.
We want to make sure that the market overall is viable and that people are continuing to transact and invest in it.
As the market continues to stabilize, many are concerned not correcting these overcharges means high electric bills despite going through these outages. Both D'Andrea and Smith say this is a complicated situation, and this does not necessarily mean Texans will have to pay more, even though there likely won't be a price correction.
I know on the surface it looks like, oh no, it's just money that generators got, and if you reverse it, it will go to the consumers. But that is very simplistic, and it's not how it works.
By PUC not taking action, is that going to have an effect on our power bills?
It is more complicated than, there is a huge price spike and it doesn't directly translate to customers see a huge price spike.
In Austin, Texas, Christian Flores reporting.
Up next, how to get involved in something really cool here. It'll get you moving, and when it comes back, you could be part of the Fiesta Flambeau Parade.
And I'm Don Harris. The latest on the Spurs and a special surprise for San Antonio's anchorman legend straight ahead.
Randy Beamer, you know I could go on for hours about you, but I have to keep this short and sweet, so I want to tell you 4 things. You see what I did there? Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your loyalty, all of your laughter, and your love for all of us. We're going to miss you, Beamer.
Beams, what more could be said? End of an era. Always love coming to you for script approval, crafting stories, talking about photography. We're all going to miss you here. We love you. Wishing you a very happy retirement.
It's like a big family, people from all walks of life.
Getting back into the swing of things, practicing our old numbers.
San Antonio's voice tonight, a unique sound of San Antonio you just might recognize, people getting back at it, and maybe you could be part of it. Now, that is just a little part of a group called Carnaval de San Anto, the original dancing and drumming group, the crowd favorite at the Fiesta Flambeau Parade for more than 30 years. They were created basically for the Flambeau with the samba rhythms, the street costumes, street dancing, wild original costumes. And while Fiesta and the Flambeau Parade are canceled again this year, well, they're still having a good time practicing Sundays in San Pedro Park, and they might be interested in you.
We are interested in people who want to learn, and experience is preferred right now because the work that I want to be presenting, the new material, is a little bit beyond beginner level. Because I know we're going to go back to this parade and carnival format at some point, but we're going to come back with new material.
So if you have talent and you feel like you are alone, no, you're not. Come and drum with us.
Beamer! I think they're trying to tell me something. If you're interested in drumming or dancing, that's Carnaval de San Anto, part of Urban 15. That is at urban15.org. Been doing stories with them since before Simone was born. We will post that later at news4sa.com and my Facebook page. Thanks, George and Catherine. Again, the Facebook page, Randy, it's not there. Randy.Beamer.
Looks like a great time, Randy. Thank you. Still to come, an update to bring you on the COVID numbers from the mayor and the county judge live. And in case you missed it, Beamer's retiring. Today is his last day with us. Coming up, News 4 San Antonio's David Chancellor sharing a very special memory of the one and only Randy Beamer.
I want to take you live to the latest on coronavirus and mayor and county judge.
7,784. Our new 7-day rolling average now has dipped below 300 and sits at 298. Sadly, we are reporting 3 new deaths this evening. We've lost in total 2,681 of our neighbors and friends and family members to COVID-19. Please remember them over the weekend and keep their families in your prayers. Each one of these numbers that we report is a loved one that we've lost and we continue to mourn for. Over in our hospitals, we're seeing more improvements. There are 335 COVID-19 patients in our hospitals tonight. That's the lowest number of patients we've seen in our hospitals since early November. Over the last 24 hours, there are 34 new admissions to the hospital for COVID, 126 patients in the ICU, and 65 are on ventilators. With numbers moving in the right direction again, as we continue to remind folks, please do your part. Do not let your guard down. Let's get to the end of this pandemic together. As of yesterday in Bexar County, we have now vaccinated 272,289 people with their first dose, and 157,921 people with the full vaccination. That's both doses of the brands that are available to us right now. Let's continue to wear our masks and social distance as we work to get more people vaccinated, and we will continue to do our part together as a community to save lives and keep each other healthy. Let me turn it now to Judge Wolf.
Well, as the mayor said, we're on a downslide in terms of cases, and everybody's been really doing a good job. I was out there today quite a bit around, and most people, well, almost everybody I saw was still wearing a face mask, and we want to Thank you very, very much for that. But we do need to remember we still are getting cases. I think it was 287 yesterday that were infected. We're still getting new people in the hospital. We're still having deaths. So it's not over yet. And
we're going to continue to monitor this for you. We are also streaming it right now at news4sa.com on our Facebook page, and we will have the very latest for you. More on this at 6:30.
I want to really... If you are really doing this, then I got to be honest, I wish you were saying goodbye here at the old News 4 building. So many memories, so many stories to come out of there. That's your station, by the way. That's your building. And if we're being honest, this is your town. It always has been. A lot of people say you are this incredibly gifted journalist, and you are. And they say you're a wonderful storyteller, and you're that as well. But you're also very kind, and quite honestly, you're a very sweet person to work with. I saw that firsthand, 1994. I had a chance to sit on the set with you and the great Deborah Daniels, and I was nervous, and Deborah didn't make it any better because she was teasing me the whole time. But you were really kind and sweet, and afterwards very generous with your compliments, and it meant the world to me. And I never said thank you. So 25 years later, thank you for what you've done for me and for our entire city. And everybody says, what are we going to do now that Beamer's not here for New Year's Eve? And I say, oh, we're going to do exactly what we've always done. We're going to hang out with Randy on New Year's Eve. Party's at your house. We'll see you New Year's Eve. Until then, enjoy retirement, and we love you.
Now your certified most accurate four-zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
Okay, here, let's get you a weather forecast and set for the weekend. And we're looking at a warm one today. It was 81 degrees. The official high in San Antonio, 58 this morning. And right now across our four zones, it is starting to cool down really nice out there across our region. World Car Weather Cam Network. Sunset just ahead here in a little less than a half hour. And you see the temperatures, 60s and 70s. And it'll be cooling off. And the weekend will not be 81 degrees. It will not be as windy as well. These are the current gusts. They're around 25 to 30 miles an hour. And on occasion, right through midnight, we could still be gusting around 30 miles an hour or so here. So it's going to stay kind of breezy or windy through our evening forecast. The relative humidity really took a nosedive through the day today behind the early morning front. That was a Pacific cold front. And that also left behind some fire weather concerns here. So the western hill country into our western zone until 7 o'clock this evening. Conditions are just right to develop and spread wildfire quickly. So here's the weekend forecast. Skies are clear now. This batch of cloudiness up here to the north, that'll be sliding in so that in the morning tomorrow, we start mostly cloudy. It's breezy. It's cooler, 51 degrees. But then notice we turn partly sunny for the afternoon. Still a little bit of a breeze, but we're in the 60s. So out west, 50s in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon, 60s to around 70. Partly sunny afternoon skies. Hill country, nice, cool, crisp start to your morning. And it will see lower to mid 60s for the afternoon. Central zone temperatures, 50s into the morning, and then the afternoon in the 60s. I'm going to go 66 in San Antonio for the official high. And in our eastern zone, here too, talking about a refreshing Saturday on the way. Next week, the pattern, flow is off the Gulf. Not much of a rain chance through the week. Best chance will be near our eastern zone with a little sprinkler shower off the Gulf. Next, weather makers, the following weekend, big chance for rain. And maybe even a little bit of thunder across the state, and up north, maybe even a little wet snow. So here's our 7-day forecast. 60s this weekend, 70s Monday, Tuesday, 80 or better by Wednesday. Out west, 69 to 70, 74 Monday. Notice the mid-80s there in the middle of next week. Hill country, nice, cool, refreshing weekend. Humidity's back, a little warmer next week. And here's your eastern zone extended forecast. Have a great weekend. Now here's Don.
This is the Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
Well, the All-Star break is finally here, and no team needs it more than the Spurs. And as much as DeMar DeRozan deserves to be an All-Star, the Spurs' entire team will enjoy these 6 days off to get everybody healthy for a very tough second half stretch of the regular season. The Spurs played well again last night despite being down 5 players. The COVID absences, plus LaMarcus Aldridge out with a stomach bug. G League players like Keita Bates-Diop and Lukas Samanic have contributed, and DeJounte Murray continues to improve and look like a future All-Star. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from OKC was their kryptonite again last night. So the Spurs now 18-14, currently in 7th in the West, but tied for 4th in the loss column. So a good first half. And coming up next, Well, it's going to be a while. The Spurs don't play until next Wednesday in Dallas. And remember, when the Spurs return to play, there will be a limited amount of fans allowed to return to home games, which means they will need ushers again. And that might be a clue to the timing of Randy Beamer's retirement.
Can I take your ticket, ma'am? Thank you.
See, many of you may not know, but Randy once had a side hustle as an usher at the AT&T Center. Sure, he was let go after just one game because he wanted to watch the game instead, and he also scared Tim Duncan as he ran onto the court. In all seriousness, Randy was right there with our sports team, covering all 5 of the Spurs championships, from being soaked by fans in Champaign on the Riverwalk in '99 to making the trip to New York with us in '03 and all 5 river parades. So Spurs president and CEO R.C. Buford had something he wanted to pass on to Beamer.
Beamer, for more than 3 decades, you've been the rock of San Antonio. Your personality, your presence, your humor, the tough times. You've been with us for everything. You've raised our kids. You've brought us into an amazing city that's grown with you because of you. You've put up with Don Harris. That's your biggest accomplishment. Thanks for being such a legend for our community. Thanks for sharing the great Spurs moments that we've all lived together. And thank you for being who you are, the amazing person that you have, and friend for all of us. Enjoy retirement.
Now, you may also not know that Beamer once subbed in for his favorite player, Vinny Del Negro, in the early 90s. No, this Photoshop is not going to fool anybody, but now he can prove it because R.C. Buford and the Spurs, Coach Pop and all of them wanted to make sure that Randy Beamer got a jersey with his own Vinny Del Negro, number 15, on it. And this is the real thing, Randy. I'm going to throw it to you. I don't know if I can't walk over there, but here you go. They said they were going to give it to you only if you would try it on the air. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We don't want to see that. But again, congratulations from the Spurs, and they went out of their way to say that they want to do something great for you.
This is very I mean, this is thank you.
Tom James over the Spurs as well.
Tom James, everybody over there, my good friend Vinny. I can't thank you enough. And now I'll have more time to go to the games and to work as an usher if they'll have me again. Thank you very much. I got more out of all of you than I could imagine, and I'm done. I'm out of words.
Well, we've still got the 6:30 and the 10 o'clock tonight, so
really,
have the tissues nearby.
Thank you, RC, and everybody. I really appreciate it.
We thank the Spurs. We'll be right back.
Beamer, headroom, got it. Beamer, wish you the best, man. Happy retirement to you. Thank you for everything that you have taught me over the years. Thank you for being a friend and a colleague, my man. Wish you the best in your retirement. Peace.
Good luck in everything you do. Be safe, stay healthy, and you know where we're at. If you need anything, holler at us.
Beamer, just wanted to say congratulations on the retirement. I enjoyed working with you. We're going to miss you. I enjoyed the banter. And in true form, I'm going to give this video to the editors about 3 minutes before the show and tell them to make it sing, because I know that's how you would have wanted it.
Well, I can attest to that.
Wow.
Wait, would have wanted it. That's like I'm dead, and he would have wanted it that way. He looks so natural. But thank you. Thank you. You guys are the greatest to work with, and I appreciate everybody out there watching. It's like everybody has a going away party at work, but we force you to watch ours. Anyway, let's move on. I believe we have some real news, do we not?
Well, in all seriousness, Randy, can you see the love that this station has for you and the community?
I'm overwhelmed, and I have trouble with words that aren't impromptu or written good.
You're a special man. You're a special man.
Thank you very much, and thanks everybody out there.
All right.
More coming at 6:30 and 10.
Oh, I'm supposed to. No.
Yeah, you still have words to speak.
I feel a little sick. We're out of time.
Halfway there, Randy. Halfway.
Bye.
News 4 San Antonio's Evening Break. We're here for you.
They're still actively hoping that Samuel's going to be found.
Right now, a family searches for closure as police search for answers. What police believe Samuel Rawls looks like now as his missing persons case turns cold.
And why scientists are now calling for a new investigation into just what started the COVID-19 pandemic.
Plus, one of our very own is signing off the air tonight. Join us as we say happy retirement to our own Randy Beamer. We'll give you a chance to share your thoughts with him, too. But first, tonight the search continues for a San Antonio teen missing for more than 30 years.
His family and police are not giving up on finding him, and they're asking for your help. Tonight, News 4 San Antonio's Melissa Vega has more on the disappearance of Samuel Rawls.
33 years later, the disappearance of Samuel Rawls is still one big mystery.
It's been such a long time that we don't have a lot of information to go on.
Samuel has been missing since February 27th, 1988. He was 16 years old.
Mom reported that he mowed the lawn and said that he was going to a friend's house, took his bicycle, and then was never seen again.
That was the last time I saw or spoke to him.
By phone, Samuel's mom, Denise Martin, talked about that day and how difficult life has been ever since.
I think about him every day. There isn't a day I don't think about him. He was great on hugs. I miss those hugs.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has an age-progressed photo of what Samuel may look like as an adult. His mom has this message for the person who knows what happened to her son.
Just stop being a coward. Just say something. No one needs to know who you are. Nothing. Just tell us where he is.
At this point, we're just looking for any information that the public may have.
One tip so many years later could finally lead to finding Samuel. The search will continue until he comes home.
And Samuel will be turning 50 years old next month. If you have any information on his disappearance, you're asked to call SAPD's Missing Persons Unit at 210-207-7660. You can also help by sharing his story on Facebook. I'll have it posted on my Facebook page. Randy?
Thanks, Melissa. Now to the latest on the numbers. Coronavirus numbers here in Bexar County tonight. 287 new cases. That brings the total closer to 198,000 since the pandemic began. Also 3 new deaths. That total now 2,681. And the World Health Organization is planning to scrap that interim report that briefly summarized its investigation into COVID's origins during a recent trip to China. Now, the World Health Organization was supposed to release the summary report shortly after that trip and follow up later with a final report, but now they say other reports will be published in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, 24 scientists are urging a new probe, saying the World Health Organization investigators were not given enough access. They're in China.
We're continuing our coverage of last month's winter storm for you. Today, the city held the first meeting of the Committee on Emergency Preparedness. The committee is made up of 7 members. They'll focus on answering these 3 areas, essentially how organizations prepare for the storm, how did utilities respond, and what impact did it have on you and our community.
I would hope we can start getting some answers back to questions and formulating the questions in a couple of weeks.
The committee tells us they will set up a website next week so you can send in your questions and comments. We will share a link with you when it's up and running.
I'm News 4 San Antonio's Emily Baucom. Our longtime anchor, Randy Beamer, is retiring after more than 30 years at News 4 and more than 40 years in the news business. Saying goodbye is hard. It's really hard. So instead, I will say thank you on behalf of all of San Antonio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you.
Thank you, Beamer, from the city you love so much. The city you met when you had a mustache. The city where you put down roots, had 2 more kids. The city you write a postcard for every Christmas. It's in every photo you take, just how much you love San Antonio. Its skyline, its history, its culture, its people. And San Antonio loves you back. You're immortalized in t-shirts so cool, even your son wanted one. There's a reason your segment is called San Antonio's Voice. You truly are the voice of San Antonio.
All right, it is 4 in the morning.
Through crisis, celebration, championships, always with your camera in hand. In the age of the anchorman, you stood out because you knew it's not about you. It's about the people at home, sharing their stories, asking the hard questions, not to say gotcha, but to get the facts. Thank you, Beamer, for your service to journalism. Your legacy is the generations of reporters you've inspired. I'm one of them. As a local kid, I grew up watching you. You hate when I say that, but it's true. I don't know what you saw in me when I walked through the doors of our old downtown station, but I'm so grateful you took me under your wing, mentored me, pushed me. You made me a better reporter, and you inspired me to love my hometown just as much as you do. Thank you, Beamer. It's time for the anchorman to go back to his favorite jobs of all, being a son and a dad. Happy retirement to a San Antonio legend.
Thank you, Emily. That was very,
You're
very
welcome.
kind. And I remember speaking to your class in high school here.
Keystone
and
School, class of 2004.
I learned from even crankier older guys than I am, and thank you for putting up with that. But if anybody out there, I really appreciate what you have done for me, because I got more out of working with you and everybody else.
You keep saying that. You like to deflect and change the subject away from you, but I'm going to go full troubleshooter right now and say, Beamer, I've never seen you this emotional. Can you tell me what's going on in your mind right now?
I am embarrassed and hope we have a wrap. But I want to convey that it is so stunning and overwhelming. And later on, I want to thank, it's my family most of all. And we're going to have to kill a lot of other stories here, because my family, it means more to me than anything. And because of them, I'm able to be here. My kids are the best thing in the history of the world, the best people I know, including my mom. And because I spent so much time here, I missed out on them. And I'm going to look forward to spending more time with them. I missed with my older daughters and my younger kids. 15-year-old is at home. And my son is back at home from college, and so we're going to bond like I wasn't able to. And I'll do other photography and art things. I always wanted to be Norman Rockwell, so there you go.
I will have to say, I've spoken some with Jackson over the years, and every time we talk, I know how proud he is of you and how much he respects you, and he knows what you've done for the community.
Well, you too, and I expect you'll do even better work now.
Well, we're neighbors. I'll keep you posted.
I'll be watching. All right, thank you very much, Emily. I appreciate it.
Emily, that was lovely, by the way. We know many of you have watched Randy here on News 4 for so many years. That's why we wanted to give you a chance. Please share your thoughts on our legendary anchor. What will you miss most about Randy? You can sound off on our News 4 San Antonio Facebook page. We want to hear your comments, and we may air a few of them in just a few minutes. Well, coming up, free art supplies. We'll show you where you can grab a free art for your child to use just ahead of spring break vacation. Plus, Don Harris, one of Randy's longtime friends here at News 4, he has a heartwarming message for Randy and for you at home. You don't want to miss his See It in 60 segment as we continue to celebrate Randy tonight.
You taught me that even if you're a legend like you are, you have to keep working hard. You were constantly one of the last people to leave the office. Also, now that you're retired, grow it back. Anytime there's breaking news, I'll always think of you. Let's roll.
Hey, Beamer, Andrew Lofholm out here in Florida. Heard you're hanging up the mic, which you definitely deserve, but sad news for everyone involved in San Antonio local news. Thank you for being you, being so kind, and being so hilarious all the time.
Congratulations from me and Paisley, sending lots of love from New York. When I think about what you taught me as a reporter, I'd say I got better at ad-libbing because you always put me on the spot and went off script, but it made me a better live reporter.
We have an update to the Blue Plate Award we gave out this week. The restaurant Delaine featured here will be in the spotlight again. Dough Pizzeria Napoletana, I believe that is, or Napoletana, off Blanco and 410. They won our Blue Plate Award for acing their health inspection, but soon they'll also be seen nationwide on the Food Network, featured on a new show called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives Takeout with that host, Guy Fieri. The show promotes restaurants that'll ship their food nationwide. You can catch that episode. It'll be 2 weeks from now, Friday, March 19th at 8 p.m. Starting the week of March 22nd, Dough plans on shipping their dishes out as well nationwide.
New video tonight. Say C has partnered with the Alamo College's district to distribute 2,500 art kits to elementary and middle school students right here in San Antonio. And the goal is to give students just something safe and fun to do during spring break.
People are so excited to get art supplies, not just kiddos, but their parents. To know that they have something to do at home, something safe. They've been really overwhelmingly thankful and excited. You should see their faces when they're coming and getting the bags.
Well, how great is this? They're going to continue to distribute supplies. This is tomorrow from 10 a.m. until noon at Alamo College District Support Operations Building. This is on North Alamo. Still to come, more school staff are getting their shot at COVID-19 vaccines. How many employees are rolling up their sleeves today at one area district?
Plus, I'm talking one-on-one with a guy I've covered since I came here in 1983. Former San Antonio Mayor Henry Cisneros. He's sharing his plans for the future, what he's doing to his home part of town, and the mantra that he lives by.
Hey, Randy, it's your old pal Jay. You know, I want you to know that I haven't been this sad since Baxter was punted off that bridge. And I'll always appreciate the way that you read the news. I found it compelling and rich. Oh, and if you ever have a big medical bill that you need help with, call your medical provider.
On the path forward, the Pearsall Independent School District has started vaccinating their employees. Today, faculty and staff were vaccinated at a mobile station at the district's central office. In all, about 130 employees signed up to get the shot.
I would have liked to emerged from politics unscathed, golden child, you know, but I made mistakes.
San Antonio's Voice tonight, a very candid Henry Cisneros, former mayor and HUD secretary, opening up about what he's been through in the past, but also I found interesting what he is looking forward to in the future. I talked with him at his brand new offices right in the heart of the West Side, in the very spot that his grandfather and then uncle ran the longtime Munguia print shop, Buena Vista. Cisneros renovated it and just moved his business offices from downtown to there, where he's putting in a library and learning spaces for neighborhood leaders to use to help kids. And he also, well, he talked about personal mistakes, an affair that derailed what was then a very promising political career.
Have acknowledged it, paid a price, can never make it right for everyone who was hurt. The first words I utter every day in my prayers are thank you, because you know, life could have taken some very, very different turns.
Do you ever play the game of what if?
No, I don't play what if, because there's no value in that. I have to, the what if question is related to an acceptance of humility. You accept what is, and you tailor your attitudes and skills to what is. And that requires a level of humility. I may think I could do something better than someone in another job, in another post, but that's not my lot in life, and I'm not gonna even think about that. I don't let myself get too high, I don't let myself get too low, just plug away every day and try to create positive things every single day. I think my mantra for life is that God put us on this earth to make it better than we found it. And he didn't mean when you feel like it, or when it's convenient for you, or when you have time. No, 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 no. Every day. And that's what I try to do.
Yes. I want to thank him for talking with me. Again, out on the West Side, he is really trying to help his old neighborhood, still lives there. I think we're going to see more news about that whole thing. You can catch our entire conversation on San Antonio's Voice, a podcast. You'll find it at news4sa.com or eventually at my Facebook page. That is randy.beamer.
Now your certified most accurate four-zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get you a forecast. By the way, I'll have a few words for my thoughts on Randy coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. He's being inundated, as he should be, with so many celebratory words here. It's just overwhelming to watch. It's so cool. But I'll have my piece tonight at 10 o'clock. So here's our forecast. We have the gusty winds this evening. That'll be with us. Not as windy as it was earlier today. Gusts now 25 to 30. But still, if you're going to be out, and this is 11 o'clock midnight, it's still going to be a little bit windy at times as a second front comes in with a push of cooler air. World Car weather cam view. Skies are clear. We are now working past sunset, and we're going to start to cool off. It's really nice this evening. Up to the north, you see these 50s compared to the same time yesterday. 10, 20 degrees colder. So this is the air that's now heading south. That'll be with us for the weekend. So today was 81. We won't even get back to 70 tomorrow. Skies are clear now. This batch of cloud cover here to the north, that'll be dropping in overnight into tomorrow morning. So we'll start with mostly cloudy skies and it will turn partly sunny if you're going to be out. This is a weekend ride forecast and really looks pretty good. It's a little bit windy tomorrow, especially in the morning. And then there's Sunday's forecast. And again, as said, very comfortable with the temperatures in the 60s. Not going to have many more of these weekends ahead of us here as we get into our really toasty warm months ahead. 66, the high temperature across our 4 zones, 69 out west, 63 into the hill country, and 68 into our eastern zone. Next week, we're pumping in the humidity off the Gulf, so the mornings are milder, the afternoons are warmer. Not much of a rain chance through the week. I'm going to hold on to small rain chance in our eastern zone where you could always get a little sprinkle or shower off the Gulf. But as I roll on this, the following weekend, you see the dates going from the 13th to the 14th. Good chance for some rain across the state, some thunderstorms, and yes, that is the possibility of more sleet and snow up north. Not down here this time around here, but still, old man winter won't give up across the state. There's our 7-day forecast, 66 to 68, 72 on Monday, and then, yes, a string of days in the low 80s, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now over to Simone.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, earlier we told you about our longtime legendary anchor, Randy Beamer, retiring today after more than 40 years in the news business. We asked, what will you miss most about Randy? Here's what some of you had to say. Brianne says, I will miss the live reports from downtown when he walks around to different areas. Kathy says his sense of humor and how he always messes up Dawn's See It in 60. Yvonne says, I'll miss his down-to-earth personality and fun side. I always enjoyed watching him and the interaction among his co-anchors. He will be truly missed. Gary says, I'll miss your anchoring, the evening news over the many years here in San Antonio, but congrats on a well-deserved retirement. You deserve it. Then we have Ruben saying, Beamer for mayor. I think a lot of people share that sentiment. You can keep the conversation going on our News 4 San Antonio Facebook page. Randy, what do you think?
Are we done now? That's very nice. And again,
I've never seen you blush
just want to say thank you to everybody for watching, and also those that I have been able to work with here. Don, Simone, Delaine, so many others I don't have time to mention. I'm not sure how long you had for this. But Chris, I can't see him. If I can't see them, I don't know who they are.
We're going to miss you,
Deborah,
Randy.
Tangi, Evie, Irene, Elsa, everybody back in the day that I can't. Kim Benson, I can't remember the other. Anyway, you know who you are, and I love you all. Thank you.
Well said, Randy. Still to come, See It in 60 always brings a smile, but tonight, Beam is the theme. You don't want to miss it. Next.
Beamer, it's been a joy and a pleasure working with you for 15 years. I'm gonna miss you. It's not gonna be the same without you here. You've been a mentor to everybody. We love you. We're gonna miss you, and I'm gonna miss sewing all those buttons that you just happened to lose along the way. Love you, Beams.
Beamer, I know you were hating all this attention, so I'll talk about me and when I dressed up as you for Halloween one year. You are the people's anchor, and I will miss you, and I hope you get to work on your Lounge Act album.
Are we out of time, please?
No, we are not.
Don is going to beat a dead horse.
Come on, hey, dude.
You got to read it.
Let's do it right. Okay.
There you go.
The stash, the laughs.
And the love. Don's here with See It in 60.
Very good. All right, one reason San Antonians love and trust Randy Beamer is because he's real. Sure, he's objective and credible and trustworthy, but he also knows how to have a good time. And boy, have we. Here's just 60 seconds of it.
Now, here's a little ditty I wrote about a station I love. That's News 4 WOAI.
We'll send him a copy of this tape.
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, thanks, Don. Finally, something a little different again on KMOL's Sunday Night News.
You were laughing at Fifi.
Take your remote, for example. Lots of people go ahead and hold on to this.
Okay.
Hold on to that for... Oh, never mind.
All right. Anyway, my remote is... Okay.
The joys
Right
of
over
live
here.
television.
Smashing through the night. To entirely ring their bass. Ring their bass.
Well, those treetops glisten and children listen.
3, 2. 15. Y es la única en San Antonio. Did we just air that? Thank you, Don. We'll be right back. Watch it, baby. Thank you.
Randy Beamer on KMOL News 4.
There it is, the stash that Mayor Nierenberg talked about earlier. It's still legendary, so much so that we're all wearing those T-shirts today.
That is, also, I want to mention Karen Gallagher, Katie Kiefer, Kathy Garcia, Shern Min Chow, and did I mention Delaine?
Yeah.
Delaine, I'm going to miss you a lot, and that's about all I can say right now. But thank you again for watching. I thought I was just going to say a couple of words at the end of the 10 o'clock news, which is more than enough, but
we still got the 10 to go, brother.
I was going to say, we still got a lot of time. I had never seen the
I
stash
am just so
on live
blessed to be doing what I'm doing. Luckiest guy in the world. Thank you.